I'm Amy from Doodle Dog Designs. Today I'm going to be talking about rug hooking. Today I want to talk about Proddy hooking. Proddy hooking is when instead of hooking loops like you would normally hook in a rug hooking project, you hook bigger strips and leave them free so you have a bit of a fringe look to your project. I've used the Proddy hooking in different projects. I've used it for bunny tails and flamingo feathers and sunflowers. Just adds a three-dimensional look to your hooking project. Here are a couple of projects that have been done with the Proddy hooking. On this one you can see the ends of the wool were cut off mostly diagonally but some randomly, and then she used a variety of different colors to make the wing feathers look interesting. And then on this one she used Proddy-like hooking, but she made big loops and to make the outside of the sunflower. So you can buy a special Proddy tool. I don't have one. That probably makes it easier. We use a bigger hook on a regular rug hook. I have another video where I showed how to make this Proddy cutting tool. So to use the Proddy stick, you want to take a strip of wool that's the same width that you want your Proddy strips to be, and you want to place it right here by the groove and wrap it around. Just keep wrapping it around until you get to the end of the strip of wool. And then you want to use your scissors and just cut it right in the groove, and you will end up with strips that are the same length. But you can also cut your Proddy strips by using scissors or your ruler and cutter. I've enlisted the help of my mom again, and she is going to show us how she does Proddy hooking. She's going to start by showing us how she does the really long loops that she did around that sunflower. This works best if you have a really long piece of wool, longer than what we have here even. And so you're just going to go ahead and start like normal, but when you pull it up, you want to pull up a much longer piece. You want it to be as long as you want the loops to be. And then you're going to bring your first loop up right behind the end that you brought up just one hole away. And bring it way up to be as long as you want the loops. And then follow your shape around and go into the next hole that you would normally go in and pull up another loop and pull it up to the same height. And to make sure they're the same height, you can put your hook into both of the loops and make sure they are the same height. When you need to end the strip, you can either go in front or behind the loop. She's going to go in front of it so that it will be the same as the other. And like I said, normally you would use a much longer strip and you would not need to end quite so soon, but we wanted to be able to show you how to begin and end this, so we used a shorter strip. And the ends, you can either leave them long like that and cut them off level with your loops, or you can cut them off close to the foundation fabric. Now she's going to show us how she does the more traditional Proddy hooking. She cuts strips about 1/2 inch wide, maybe a little wider, and the length can vary depending on the finished look that you want. Some people like to fold them in half and cut the middles to be a little bit narrower, and then it will fit in your foundation fabric a little bit easier. And she said sometimes she does that, sometimes she doesn't. It gives it a different look. It kind of affects how well it stands up and how much it fills in. She prefers hooking on monk's cloth, but the monk's cloth is harder to do the Proddy hooking on. The primitive linen is easier to pull the Proddy strips through. So like regular hooking, you're going to pull one end of the strip up, and then you're going to go into the next hole over, and then you're going to pull up the other half of the strip. And you can see there where the skinny part is what is attached to the foundation fabric. Normally she would hook pieces right next to each other without any gaps, but she wanted to hook one here in between and show you a Proddy piece that doesn't have the center cut out. So this one is just rectangular all the way across, and so you can see the difference between how it stands up versus the other ones. And of course, once you get more hooking around it, those others will stand up also, but you can see quite a bit of difference in how they look. So now I'm going to work on the tail on my bunny, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the ends to be at an angle. And I have done these at 1/2 inch by 2 inches. Some of them are a little bit wider, some narrower. This wider one is more like 3/4 of an inch. I don't know whether or not I'll need it. And I'm not going to cut out the centers. Now when I get ready to press this, to steam this, I will not press over the Proddy part. I'll press all the way up to it. My piece of monk's cloth was not quite big enough for my frame, so I sewed another piece, and I must have got on the very edge of the monk's cloth, right in that spot. It's starting to rip a little bit, but I'm hoping it will hold long enough for me to finish. Okay, I'm going to press it now. I have my pressing cloth damp, and And I'm going to put it over the bunny, but not over the Proddy part. You can see I'm just getting right up next to the Proddy, but not over the top of it. Now I'm going to flip it over to press the back side, but I'm going to put down a nice fluffy towel to help keep the Proddy part from getting smushed. I'm still not going to press over that part, but I don't want it to get smushed against the flat ironing board. That will give it a little bit more cushion there. I can go over just a little bit more. I'll let this dry before I make it into a stuffed figure. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe below. I'll see you next time. Bye.